he needs to go to a team that they're close, or at least like on that trajectory. My Raptors are not. They're just not. Raptors fans are delusional.
Spirit Week continues here at the All City Network. It is time for Mystery Guest Tuesday, and we have an amazing mystery guest joining Erik, Steven, and Gerald on PHNX Suns. It's J.E. Skeets of No Dunks fame, one of the OG, if not the OG, NBA basketball podcasters, formerly the starters on the NBA Network and TNT, and so much more. Skeets, how you doing, man? NBA Finals in full swing.
I'm fantastic. Happy to be on. Happy to be the mystery guest. I like the sound of that. It's like I'm running into the Royal Rumble. Nobody knows I'm coming in.
What's your theme music if you're running in?
Great question. Probably Break the Ice by John Farnham from the 1984 BMX movie Rad. Yeah.
just a casual mainstream option there.
Just a great song. I mean, it's a great song. I would love to run in the ring to it.
That's definitely one that, he's sat up and thought about before. Your overarching thoughts on what's been going on with the Kevin Durant trade saga from a more holistic national perspective than maybe us in the weeds here in Phoenix.
Yeah, I guess you guys are probably getting a little tired of talking about hypothetical Kevin Durant trades. Yeah, just a little bit. Hopefully we have a conclusion to this soon. It's been weird just because we know it is going to happen. Like right after the season ended, it was basically a done deal. Like, okay, yeah, they are looking to trade this guy. He's still talented despite his age. And then who wants him and who wants to then hopefully sign him to the extension? So we've had these big lists that have sort of dwindled down a little bit, but now it seems to be like, are the Wolves still in it? Are they not? So I know it feels like one of the Texas teams or Miami, but man, there's still a lot of buzz out there about the Wolves being aggressive. So I don't know what to think. And you just keep getting reports from these people that are pretty plugged in. And we just sort of wait and see. And all we can do then is be like, what package could Houston put together? What package could San Antonio put together? Would the Heat include so-and-so? And we go from there. But it is fun. It's good for business. People, they love trades.
They absolutely do. And to that point, Skeets, I got a two-parter for you. So number one, what's the best trade destination for Kevin Durant? And number two, what's the best trade destination for the Suns?
Ooh, okay. That's a good question. Again, if we're going with sort of this short list, if we believe this is the list, and again, a part of that, him having the tiniest bit of leverage over like, hey, look, you trade me there, and then I'll sign that extension with so-and-so, maybe not other teams. Again, Phoenix doesn't have to say we'll play kind like that, but I can't imagine a team wanting a disgruntled Kevin Durant, even if it was for 1 year. So let's go with that. Of all the sort of prospect players that are realistic, I'm a big Jabari Smith Jr. fan. So I do, if he is included in some sort of Houston deal, even if that does mean Jalen Green's the key piece, I think you can work with that and maybe spin him out. But I like him as a player, as a piece going forward for the Suns. The flip side of that, KD, it's a good spot, but man, I would love to play with Wembanyama and De'Aaron Fox if I'm Kevin Durant at the end of my career. I like how that sounds. So I guess I picked those two Texas teams from on just different sides of the coin.
Skeets, I have a quick one for you, and I take the quick part back because it's going to be a little thought exercise going on. So looking at the teams that I guess are his favorites to go to, looking at the returns that one of those three or each of those three teams could potentially net, what young piece would you maybe like to see most with the Suns in odd system with Devin Booker? So we got Vassell, Johnson, Jabari Smith Jr., Tari Eason, Kel'el Ware, pretty much those kind of names. Who would you like to see most with the Suns going into next season?
I am higher, like I said, on Jabari Smith Jr. than probably some of the Spurs guys, as good as they are and as talented as they might be. I just love his upside. Kel'el Ware, we can get into the Heat one. It does feel, Jake Fisher, I'm sure you guys have talked about this a ton, reporting that's sort of the hang up, I guess, maybe from the Miami Heat side of things. They don't want to include Kel'el Ware. They maybe don't want to include Jaquez Jr. as that's the swing piece. You could get it done. Obviously with Wiggins' contract and then a Rozier or a Duncan Robinson. Kel'el Ware, to answer your question, if that one's realistic, that's awesome to me. His age, his potential at the center position, it feels like that's a hole that the Suns could obviously fill. That's a no-brainer. I love Jaquez Jr. I know he's older, so I know that knocks him down a couple pegs to some people, but I still think he'd be great in Arizona alongside Booker. But I would go, I guess, even though I think it's unlikely that the Heat would include him or even should, and the most realistic one is Jabari Smith Jr. To me, that's how I sort of would, put them in ranking.
Quick follow-up for you. Jeremy Sohan wasn't included in the names that I mentioned. How does he kind of stake claim in that hierarchy for you?
Yeah, I am not as high on Jeremy Sohan as some people are. I mean, like, he's going to have a long career. There's always a position for him, no doubt. I actually had a chance to see him. I got a chance to go to Paris for those 2 games between the Spurs and the Pacers, and so I got to see him up close. And I like it's he's just not a skilled offensive player, just to be blunt about it. And again, obviously can rebound and defensive minded. But I'm just not as high on him. I really not. Like, again, he'll be in the league. He's going to have a spot. But these other guys that we're talking about, to me, have the ability to blossom, to turn into an all-star or a borderline all-star. I don't think that's in Sohan's future, but that's my reading on it.
I don't know, man. He was hitting open threes in a gym during the summer. We all know that means he's going to be good.
Well, Ben Simmons has never missed in the summer.
Oh no, the Sohan Ben Simmons comparisons. Now I'm
no. No, I'm not going that far.
Let's put on the old GM hat, Skeetsy, and let's say you are in charge of a team who is maybe interested in acquiring Kevin Durant. Where do you put his value entering his age 37 season for the 15-time All-Star?
That's a good question. Look, he's not. I think every time Durant's been moved prior, he was pretty obviously still a top 5 guy, right? I mean, or at least right there on that sort of window. He's nowhere near that nowadays, like with his age. I mean, it's just a big part of it. But is he still top 20? Is he still top 25? Like, is he more in that ballpark? Probably 15 to 25 somewhere. He just has such an elite skill. And I don't see why it would suddenly disappear as long as he's out there and healthy. And we're talking, the jumper off the bounce. I mean, it's just like he's automatic from mid range. So I'm always worried with Kevin Durant a little bit about his attitude or his vibe and the impact he can have positively or negatively on a locker room. So I want him going to a spot into a setting where that's like either there's like an alpha dog and he slots in behind him, or he's the alpha. I guess if he was in Miami, that's probably the case. But then just a great system in place to just let the guy hoop and try and avoid all the other off the court noise and stuff like that. So I'm still high on him. I mean, despite his age, in the right situation, he definitely has proven he can still be a pretty fantastic second banana and can close games and win you games if you get into a playoff setting. You just got to get there, right? And into those matchups. He's not going to fall off a cliff. He's suddenly not going to be able to shoot. Like, no one thinks that. So it's just you're really getting into the health factor. And I think having sort of a good system in place in your organization, in your locker room, for him just to plug in and hoop. But I'm still high on him.
Yeah, having that infrastructure and that culture in place makes a lot of sense to me as far as Kevin Durant still being able to contend. Let's keep the GM hat on for a second. We know the Suns are not going to get the same value for Kevin Durant that they gave up to get him. But if you were the GM of the Suns, how are you approaching what you're targeting in a Kevin Durant trade? Because we've heard Phoenix is targeting, players that can help them compete now. Obviously, you need salary filler guys of that caliber. But draft picks, young players, maybe not as much of a priority. If you were the GM of the Suns, how are you trying to build around Devin Booker with this pivotal deal, knowing that you still have Bradley Beal to kind of figure out or deal with for the next 1 to 2 years?
Right. Oh, Bradley, still here. What are you doing here, Bradley? Oh, you don't want to leave? You sure? No. Okay, you're here. That's fine. That's why when on our No Dunks podcast, I guess it was late last week when we were getting buzz of some of these teams and we went through all the hypothetical deals, we sort of came to the conclusion, again, to go back to Minnesota, of all the players that we have just talked about, the 4 of us here. It's the best player right now, if that is the game plan, let's compete with Booker and let's retool on the fly, it would be Julius Randle. Again, if that's any potential that there's a 3 or 4 team trade to get him to Phoenix. So it's him, in my opinion, if you're looking to at least, compete and get these wins. Because some of these other guys, like, you're hoping to some extent there's either too much overlap with Booker when we're going a little bit green and Vassell's and stuff like that, or they're just young and it's like, man, we're hoping Jabari Smith Jr. turns into an all-star, or we're hoping, one of the maybe Heat guys sort of levels up. But right now it's Randall to me. As for the picks, I mean, I'm the GM. I got the hat on. I'm like, I want all three. Like, I want good players, I want promising young guys, and I want draft capital. And I think, I mean, again, you guys have talked about this like nonstop, but like, that's why the Rockets having Phoenix's draft capital, there is something where it's like, let's at least get that back. I mean, at least we have the control then. All these other ones that we talk about in the 20s, 30s, and the 32s, and they're coming by swaps. And it's like, you got to have a lot of things go your way, like, for those picks to like obviously pay off or even to fall high. You got your own, you at least know where they're going to lay. So that is another maybe bonus for the Rockets. Again, you guys have talked about this. There's nothing you don't know, but there is that idea. If we are leaning towards draft capital, let's get our own to get that control.
What would be maybe the most intriguing or interesting thing you would be looking forward to with the Booker-led Suns roster going into next season?
Well, first off, I am a huge Devin Booker fan. I'm on record. I've been a Booker guy since day one. So obviously there's been ups and downs, a lot of losing early and then a lot of success there going all the way to the finals. And then him finally getting his flowers, I felt like, and people are like, wising up, like, oh, he actually is a good player. He was just on a bad team. He wasn't just empty stats. Little bit of a down here this last year, which was a little unfortunate, but I just need guys around him that can play a little defense, can obviously just plug in the holes. Like, I feel so good with him, obviously scoring the ball. He's improved as a playmaker. And then end of a game, I love going through him still. Like, you're going to operate through him. But we got to get some stops, and we have to just at least have a bit of an effort on the defensive end. And that's why we go to that Khalil Ware talk, like that idea, I think, of like a promising, young, defensive-minded center, little rim runner. You see like the Lively type comparisons. That makes sense. But yeah, they do need, it's been weird. Like, they went all in. They went all in on like these guys that can score, right? With KD and the Beal factor and Booker. And it's like a little too much of that. I think we're seeing, even use the Thunder in the finals as an example. It's like, you don't need every guy to be able to go get 25. They're all NBA players. They can all get you that on any given night. But the consistent guys, we need 2. We need 3 of those guys. Like when you look at the Thunder example, then we need your dogs. We need those guys. And if you're Phoenix, you're hoping that you have a couple on the come up, or you can get some more in this hypothetical KD trade. So that's what I'm looking at.
We're wrapping things up here with J.E. Skeets of the No Dunks podcast, daily NBA show over on The Athletic. There's a lot of doom and gloom here locally in Phoenix about the next couple of years and the future of this franchise, even beyond a Kevin Durant trade. Where do you stand on how quickly Phoenix might be able to dig themselves out of this hole they got themselves into and get back into at least relevancy in the Western Conference, if not contention?
I don't think we're looking at like a 5 or 6 year like plan here at all. I mean, like, again, the Suns were a laughing stock of the league for years and couldn't win it all. And then they turned into obviously a competent franchise, and they had a superstar in Booker, and they made some big splashy plays. Maybe, overplayed their hand. I guess we can look back and say now maybe they wouldn't have done some of these moves, whatever. But I don't think they're super, super far off. Now you can pivot and you can blow it all up, and like Booker's on the trade deadline. That guy wants to be there though, so that's refreshing. But I was like thinking, like, I grew up a Raptors fan. I mean, they were garbage forever, right? And then, then the infrastructure and the guys got in place, and it was led by Lowry and it was DeRozan. They couldn't get over the LeBron hump, kept banging their head into that wall. But then they made the big move that paid off, and that was Kawhi. And since then, it's sort of now they've started to slow down and holding on with some draft picks. But like, it takes like 1 or 2 guys alongside a guy you already have in Booker to sort of like click. And I don't think it's far-fetched. I don't know about this coming season, but like 2 years from now, would I be shocked if they're back in the very loaded, competitive West? Not at all. Not at all. Because so quickly this league changes. I mean, just in terms of trades, in terms of like oh, you had the 12th pick and that guy suddenly turns into an all-star in his third year, all NBA guy like Jalen Williams. Like, we don't know. Like, the draft is such a crapshoot as it is. So I'm not like, I know Suns fans right now, oh boy, here we go. This is going to be brutal. It could be bad for a year. And I'm not even that convinced it's going to be brutal. So I still think this is going to be a competitive team. And I mean, really, it's like, wait to see what they get back for KD. Maybe I'll change my tune when we see what actually comes back. But I have some faith that there's enough teams sort of interested that like they can slow play this a tiny bit to like maybe get another young player or another draft pick. And seems like that's what they're doing here. Why they're not rushing to be like, okay, we'll take that one.
Okay, really quick, since you are a Raptors fan, there has been some links between the Raptors and Kevin Durant. Does that make any sense to you at all?
It really doesn't. It doesn't. Like I like KD, like as fun as it would be, I guess, to see him in a Raptors jersey, still scoring 25, cool. But like we talked about that infrastructure and maybe like KD has to go in theory to a team that's like that's why the Heat is weird. That's why the Rockets makes more sense. Like they were the second seed in the West and we saw their limitations. It seems to be like, I know I'm like getting way ahead, but like, remember we were looking at the Thunder and they slow played it and they got to the playoffs. And then we saw what happened. Like Giddey couldn't be out there. They could have used a little more defense. You could have used a big. And that's what Presti went and got. He went and got Hartenstein. He went and got Caruso. And bang, they're one win away from winning the whole thing. Like those guys have obviously helped. Now, could the Rockets be looking at their team? We got a lot of young guys. We got to take our lumps in the playoffs, but we're missing said piece. That would be Kevin Durant. We need a scorer. I think there's some correlation. I don't think the Rockets are going to win the title if they make a trade for KD right away, but he needs to go to a team that they're close or at least like on that trajectory. My Raptors are not. They're just not. Raptors fans are delusional. I said all last year we were going to be bad and we were, but we got Ingram and we got RJ and we got Quickly and we got a weird team, but we got to see how they like play together with Scotty Barnes as the main guy. But I don't think KD's going to Toronto. I think that's all smoke.
Let's say real quick, was it Ujiri that put that out for the media or was that Drake?
Oh, good point. I'll go Drake. He's trying to build his image back up.
Makes sense. Yeah. It's a good call.
Skeets, man, thank you so much for taking some time out of your busy schedule to join us here. For those who aren't familiar with what you, Tass, Trey, JD, and the whole crew do on a daily basis over at No Dunks, you want to let them know where they can find you and what y'all are all about?
Yeah, we do a daily show Monday through Friday, sometimes weekends, especially during the playoffs. We do emergency podcasts, of course, too. We will do one when KD is inevitably traded. But 10 a.m. every morning, 10 a.m. Eastern, really early for you guys out there. On YouTube, we go live. And yeah, just talk about, obviously, the big games and the big stories and have a lot of fun. And yeah, come check us out. No Dunks on Apple. It's on Spotify. It's everywhere. If you don't know by now, I mean, you're not going to care. So
thank you so much, Skeets. We appreciate you. Have a good one.
Take care, guys. Good luck.
We all silly like the mayor.